Okay, so now that we've gone and completed the mechanical repairs in the vehicle, we're going to go ahead and connect diagnostics equipment to the ECU. Now, before we get into it, I just want to go through all the different vehicles that I can connect to. So you'll see that there's quite a few brands that the software itself supports. Now, within each brand, there'll be various models and the years that they support. Okay, but just to jump to it, we're going to go to the vehicle we're currently diagnosing, which is a Volkswagen Mach 4 2001. The type of system, it's the type of control module that you'll be connecting to. You can do a quick all system scan. This will automatically scan all the control modules in the vehicle, see what is available, what systems respond, and give you a diagnostics report or fault code report on all systems. As you see, you'll go through, then you can go into each individual system, and in that individual system there'll be quite a few listed, but we'll get into that in the other videos more to come. Specifically, we want to go into the petrol system, look at the engine. You'll notice that there's quite a few different engine codes. These engine codes will be specific to the different models of the vehicles, but each engine code and model of engine will support different diagnostics functions and features, so it's good to be as specific as possible when diagnosing. Otherwise, if you're unsure and you want to take a chance, we can always come to all engines and the software will do the thinking for you. But currently we know I want to diagnose an APK Motronic. I'm just going to go ahead and check establish connection and see what kind of fault codes get brought up. Now the connection is established, we can read fault codes. You can see there's engine cooling temperature, circuit low inputs. This I already know about. There was a wire that was damaged on the engine coolant temperature sensor. Not a train smash, we just need to get a new temperature sensor, and this is due to replacing the standard filter with the cone filter. Now all we have to do to get rid of this is make a small adaptation on the cone filter so that we can plug the airflow meter back in. But for now, we'll just get rid of these fault codes. I'll read them again to make sure nothing comes back, and system okay. Now quickly before we move on to the next thing, I just want to jump into your real-time data. Now this is a very good function if you're diagnosing a problematic vehicle with idling problems, or it's just doing anything funny, or just if you want to see what's happening. Very important to use a function like this. If you've done major work on the engine, timing, so forth, you can let the engine run and you can see real-time values. We're just going to start the engine. Alright, so the engine has been started and you can see nothing is blown up. We still seem to be 100% okay. Okay, so now that we've established a further connection, you can see we're getting some real-time readings. I can see my injection period, the engine load, mass, air meter. So although I've disconnected the airflow sensor, or the airflow meter, it's alright because I'm still getting readings via the ECU. So we can see my revolution signal, otherwise my RPM. As I rev, we'll see and get some readings. But just to quickly shoot forward, we'll go through, see what other kind of readings that we get. Tell you my throttle opening as I hit it. Another good one too, my ignition time. You work on your ignition, replacing things, trying to get a bit more out of it. We can take a quick reference and see there. Okay, another good point. So like I said before, my alternator, I was only getting about 11.5, 12 volts out of the battery. We stripped the alternator, just kind of took some clean green, scrubbed it out, a little bit of elbow grease, and some TLC, and yeah, there we are, 14.14, steady over. And see, as we hit the gas pedal, there's immediate response that gets pulled through. Now this is always good for after you've done major work on the engine, before you go and start test driving vehicles, and let the test drive be the lesson of the error. You can basically connect, see how everything's running prior to that. If necessary, refer to a manual and make sure that all your readings are correct or in par with where they need to be. As you can see, there will be quite a few different real-time values that we can get. Now, as a quick reference to what I was saying when you're diagnosing the vehicle with your engine codes. Now, all those different engine codes, now the control modules for all those different engines will have different real-time values that you'll be able to see. So, like I said, it's very good to be specific because different engines will support different features and functions and different real-time values. See, this is also good now because my Lambda probe after catalytic converter, Lambda probe after converter diagnosis status. This one, I picked up that one of my Lambda probes, my oxygen sensors, are down. I just have to spend a few thousand rand somewhere and get a few more. Okay, so now that we've seen that we can get some pretty impressive real-time readings, what we're going to do is impress some more and get a custom data list together. Now, if we want to see what our knock control cylinders are doing, get some kilowatt readings, we can do that, but obviously we'll have to take the car for a test drive. But we're just going to go ahead and remove everything here. And we'll assemble a random list. Okay, like I said, you can really go through this whole list over here and select everything that it is that you want to do a comparison with. Okay, so we can go through, depending on your preference. We'll see data list X. Now this is your custom data list. This will be showed as in a graph if you prefer to see it on its exact measurements. However, if you want to be a little bit old school, like myself, we go to a custom data list mode. Now, very cool because we can go ahead and see all our custom values simultaneously, and we can make comparisons amongst all those values. So whatever work it is you are doing, about to do, or have had done, you can do the comparisons prior or after and make sure that they are correct. Alright. So now that we've completed that, we'll just do another diagnostics test over here. Check. Okay, so we've only had the two that have come back, and we'll just go ahead, erase these fault codes while the car is still running, and we will... Okay, so engine cooling temperature circuit, low inputs, not a problem. We know we need to replace that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and shut the vehicle down. Turn the car off. Turn the ignition back on. And we're gonna leave the engine. Okay, so we're just gonna quickly go through some of the other type of systems that we can connect to. We'll see with the brakes, it's the same as the engines. There'll be different types of braking systems for the different models of vehicles. Now I just want to quickly go into the instruments cluster. Okay, so we've also picked up again coolant temperature sensor. Okay, so this one will not be erased until we replace the coolant temperature sensor. But with this we'll also be able to have the same type of real-time values, but this will focus, you'll have some oil readings here as well, your pressure. But as with the other one, you'll see there's quite a few different data lists we can go through. Not as many as the engine, but on the engine electrical systems, and on as far as service, it's quite a few. Okay, so we also got some pretty accurate readings there. And again, as with the petrol systems, we can also do a quick little custom data list if we want for reference. Okay. Get it as our graph mode if we wish. Sweet. Or kick it old school. Okay, so we're just going to turn the vehicle off. It's going to turn the ignition back on. Okay, so now that we can see that there's also some ECU functions that we can do. We can write to the ECU. I'm just gonna hop out of this. Come to the mobilizer. See, now this immobilizer function, it's really great if you want to add keys, remove keys. Also be able to do a fault code reading there, see if we get any problems. Okay, so again, you get the same thing there. Let's write to the ECU. Now this is where we can really get into the technical stuff. Pairing with ECU, entering security code, enter number of keys we want to change. So the first step of the function would be if we wanted to add keys, we'd come into here, figure out how many keys we wanted to add. First we would code the key to the immobilizer. Then we would have to leave this section, come back in, go into generation 3, the next phase. A quick bold code reading. Okay, no problem. Again, we get some more real-time data readings. And then we would come back to this section over here. Enter security code, enter number of keys, and from here this is where we would continue to do the programming of the key to the vehicle. And then we would just do a quick test after. Again, we'll get into that more in depth in some other videos. Or we can test the airbag system. Make sure, once you ever do any work on your steering wheel, you'll need to just make sure that there's no fault codes there. If you disconnect the airbag, reconnect it. And again, here with your convenience system. This is more so for the interior electronics of the vehicle. Your headlights, navigation, radio, sound system, steering wheel electronics. I don't have any problems there, so again, if we have specific requests for that, we'll get into it down the line. But just before we finish up here, we'll just do a quick all system scan just to give everyone a quick look-see to see how it goes about the process of identifying. So it automatically goes through all the systems and sees which your vehicle has. Now, back in the type of system, they will list all the different functions and features for the vehicle models in it. You'll find, you'll have like a Golf Trend, Golf Hilux, and Golf Comfort. There'll be different packages and different ranges in your vehicles. The thing is, they'll go ahead and put all that and head in here. You'll just have to know exactly which it is of these that your vehicle specifically supports. Now, like I said, if you're unsure about that and you just want to do a quick intelligent system scan, come there, all systems, and then we'll just go and automatically identify. Make sure it's petrol system, make sure everything's selected, and then it will come and scan through everything automatically. So we know that's what we want. We'll make sure ignition's on and okay. So what this will do is just map out the entire control module system via the ECU. And like I said, instead of having to go into each individual system or type of system, this will do it all for you. So it's gone through the database of engines and it's picked up a system responded and it's found fault codes with that. Now, as it'll do for the same with the next, it'll go through the brakes. Like if we went through the brakes, you see all the different type of braking systems. If you're unsure, you could again just come here quickly, do an intelligent system scan, and it'll automatically scan through the different type of braking systems. Okay, so now we can see the system searches completed itself and it'll give us our final diagnostics report. Under each system that responded, it will list whatever the fault codes are. As we saw before, we went through all that stuff. So it's already stuff we know. Okay, multifunction, let's take a look, see here. See, Now this is an important point. When you do work on vehicles and things are disconnected, they can cause other things to have raised fault codes. So now with this, we want to make sure that there's going to be no problem with systems responding to each other. So what we're going to do is just quickly go back to our main screen here, and we're going to erase all the fault codes. Now if we wanted to, we could quickly, before we do that, save our diagnostics report. Okay, so we are basically done. Okay, so we've gone through all the basic functions and features of what the software can do: read fault codes, erase fault codes. We can get our real-time data list, customize real-time data list. Check out all our measure value blocks, see what's happening while the engine's running. Good for doing comparisons and anything else before, between, or after working on the engine. Make sure everything's 100% sound for finding out the hard way. But that's it for now. We'll go more in depth into detail about what the major functions and features of the software, what it's capable of handling. We're a Golf 6 2010, the 2011 spec that we're going to connect to, make a few videos in around that. But for now, I want to thank everyone for watching, and that's Floyd, Full Circle Technology.